My name is Clay Newcomb. I work with Meat Eater. I'm going to break down this chunk of private ground, presumably in the Ozarks, of how I would hunt this. So what I'm looking for and what I've made a living on killing deer in the Ozarks is the back edges of these fields, narrow fields. I've got my cursor here on the back edge right here. I like this little finger right here. If I could just pick anywhere on here, I would drive right into there. And there's a couple of things going on here. There's this big long point that falls off into this river bottom. There's steep, thick bedding cover on the north side of this ridge. These deer probably going to be bedding in there. But the back edges of these fields, these deer, if they're traveling, they will cut across fields, but typically they're going to travel right around the back corner of that. And here, especially in the late season, right now it's December, these deer, much of their food source is in these fields. And these are just hay fields. It's not grain fields, not agriculture, but the back edges of those fields are going to be good, especially in the evening. The other way that you would hunt this on private land is just knowing where these deer are popping out in the evenings. And a lot of times it is unpredictable where they're going to be. You really need to glass and get to understand a farm before you know these kind of nuanced places where these deer pop out. Some of the places are going to be evident. The second place that I would hunt, so the back corners of these fields, the deer I killed this week was at the back corner of a field that was connected to big timber. The other thing I would point out is this big long ridge right here. Sometimes these field deer are tough. You can see them, but they're hard to kill. I like that little pinch point right on top of that ridge for a morning sit. There's a big draw that comes up right here. There's steep northern hillside right here, presumably, that is going to have some thick cover. I see some evergreens in there, which is probably cedar. And at the right time of year, if the acorn's made on that ridge, you'd have stable winds up high. And so you could hunt this stand with any kind of a wind that's blowing laterally with a west or an east wind. You could find a way to hunt it with a north or south wind too. But I like these big long ridges with little pinches, little saddles like that right there. So if this was public land, I would hunt it different. But private land, those would be the two things that I would jump on, just never having been on these properties.